Hi, and welcome to Spanish 5-6. The following PowerPoint will be a brief overview of my course syllabus. Course description. Spanish 5-6 is a third-year Spanish course that will be conducted almost entirely in Spanish. In addition to reviewing and mastery of the first and second year Spanish, third-year students will work towards increasing their vocabulary, understanding much of what is said, and begin to initiate conversations, recognize indicative, imperative, and subjunctive forms, write short essays, read and comprehend poems, short stories, news articles, etc. Goals and standards. Students will practice speaking, reading, writing, listening, and cultural awareness of Spanish in order to achieve competency in the following standards taken from the World Language Content Standards for California Public Schools. Content. Students use language to participate in everyday social interactions. Communication. Students actively use language to transmit meaning while responding to real situations. Cultures. Students comprehend the ideas, attitudes, and values that shape the target culture. Structures. Students grasp the associated concepts and comprehend the structures the language uses to convey meaning. And settings. Students carry out tasks in stage and age-appropriate situations that reflect the target culture. Materials. You will need an En Español 3 textbook. That was what you checked out at the library when you registered for class, and it should be a purple textbook. I do not use the En Español 3 textbook a whole bunch. You might have one or two assignments out of it through the year, but I generally make my own stuff, my own material, because the En Español textbook 3 is kind of outdated. So I will spare you from bringing that to school with you every day. Please just leave it at home. Don't lose it, but leave it at home in case you have a homework assignment from it. You also need one notebook, or if you want to, a section of your binder dedicated to Spanish for notes, practice activities, in the classroom at home, and writing materials, pens, pencils, erasers, etc. I can't stress the importance of having a specific section of your binder devoted just to Spanish stuff, because one of the things that you're going to be getting a lot of in the class is a lot of handouts and worksheets and important papers, and you want to make sure you have them all in one special spot so that you don't lose them. If you can't find them, then you could lose points on a homework assignment or classwork assignments. You don't want to do that. So please make sure that you're organized and you've got a special notebook dedicated to Spanish or a special section in your binder. Rules and citizenship. Please, 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 please follow all school rules, and you'll see that in the student handbook, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later today. And classroom rules. Follow all the classroom rules. Each infraction will result in a consequence from the Henry 4-step assertive discipline plan. Whew, that's a mouthful. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Classroom rules. I have a bunch. I apologize. Number 1 is no talking is allowed after the bell. Students may only talk if they are called upon by the teacher or instructed to participate in an activity. Trust me, I will give you plenty of opportunities to talk, but when I'm talking, you need to not be talking. So it would help to keep a quiet environment throughout the classroom environment, again, unless I ask you to talk or participate. Number 2, no hats, hoods, or head coverings. Obviously, religious head coverings are excused. Hats will be confiscated and held until the end of the day, so please don't, especially if you're in first, second, or third period, that stinks. Please don't have your hat on while in class. Number 3, no personal grooming. This is a big one for me. This includes but is not limited to hair and makeup, doing your nails, doing clothing alterations, applying lotions or perfumes or colognes, etc. Guys and gals, you may think that your perfume or cologne is the most amazing smell in the whole entire world, but I guarantee you the rest of the class is not going to. So please do your perfuming and cologning, all that good stuff in the bathrooms, or better yet, outside in the open air, so that you don't harass anybody else with your fragrance. Personal grooming items that are out during class will be confiscated and held until the end of the day. Number 4, no food or drink consumption. Food and drink items that are out during class will be confiscated and held until the end of the day. Only water in a closed container is allowed. Please, please, please bring water to school with you to stay hydrated, because it's going to be hot, especially in September, October. But no other drinks, especially the sugar drinks like sodas and teas and Gatorade and all that good stuff. I know you want to quench your thirst, but water is the only way you can do it in my classroom. Drink your Gatorade outside, that's fine. Drink your sodas and coffees and teas outside, that's fine. But when you come into class, only water should be out. Number 5, no foul language. This includes but is not limited to name-calling, profanity, and bullying. Please don't speak impolitely, shall we say, to your fellow students. If you're not willing to say it to your grandmother or great-grandmother, please don't say it to another student or to myself. We want to promote a positive atmosphere here, and to do that we need to make sure that we're speaking positively to one another, not putting people down. Number 6, be in your science seat and ready to learn. That means with your materials out and ready. when the bell rings. Remain in your seat for the entire period unless given permission or directions to leave your seat. If the bell rings and you're just sauntering over to your seat at that time, then you will be breaking that rule. So please be in your seat when the bell rings, ready to go. And finally, number 7, follow all teacher directions given during class. Okay, so what happens if you don't follow a rule, if you break a rule, if you have an infraction? This year we have the Henry 4-Step Assertive Discipline Plan, and you'll probably be seeing this in your other classes. Basically, the plan has progressive consequences for repeated behavior infractions. Consequences include, but are not limited to, on your first offense, you get a warning, a verbal warning from me, and I'll go over the actual 4-step assertive discipline plan sheet with you in just a few minutes after the recording to show you how it's set up. But first, you'll get a warning. You'll sign off that you understand that you did have an infraction. You'll sign off that you got the warning. And then the second offense, whether it be the same thing or a different thing, you'll have a detention and you'll have your citizenship grade lowered. If you have a third offense, for example, your first offense was dress code, your second offense was gum, your third offense was, I don't know, wearing a hat or foul language, you're going to get the same consequence as the second offense, which is a detention and citizenship grade lowered, and I'm also going to be doing a phone call home to your parent. The fourth offense, the fourth time you have an infraction in class, you will again get the same consequence from the detention and citizenship grade lowered, and you'll also get a referral to the counseling office. And then fifth through however many other offenses you may have, hopefully none, you'll have the same consequence as the fourth, so it'll be a referral to your counselor. The good thing about the 4-step assertive discipline plan is you should never be surprised as to what's coming next as far as consequences goes, because they're the same every single time based on what step you're on, and that it resets after each 6-week grade period. So if you had a bad first 6 weeks of school, that's okay. You've got the next 6 weeks to make it up and do a better job. Okay, detentions. So what is it about detentions? How do I run detentions? How does that work? So detentions will be assigned to any student who violates a school or class rule, starting after one warning, of course, while in my classroom. Detentions are held in room 119 here, Monday through Thursday from 2:20 to 3:20 p.m. during the month of September, and every Wednesday from 2:20 to 3:20 for the rest of the year. Students are always assigned to serve detention on the day after their offense, but may choose to serve it the same day if detention is offered that day. So for example, it's the month of September, let's say on Thursday you've already had a warning and now it's the second offense. On Thursday, if you want to serve detention that day, you can. If not, I don't have detention on Friday, so you'd have to serve it the following Monday. Detention part 2, detentions are mandatory and they will not be excused for sports or clubs or jobs or extracurricular engagements. Students who fail to attend the mandatory assigned detention can expect to have their parents called, a referral written, and a student-teacher-parent meeting arranged. So many of you are athletes, I understand that, I know that, but saying I have a game today or I have practice today is not going to get you out of detention, because I am in regular contact with all the athletic coaches, and they do recognize that academics comes before athletics. So you would need to talk with your coach about missing a part of practice or missing the beginning of the game or whatever. So make sure that you're cognizant and aware of that. Grading scale. Students earn grades in my class according to the following percentages. Anything from a 90 to 100 is an A. Anything from an 80 to an 89 is a B. 70 to 79 is a C. A D is 60 to 69%, and an F is anywhere from 0 to 59%. I work on a points system. I do not do a percentage weighted grade. So if the semester ends with a total of 840 points possible and you earned 744 points on tests and assignments, your grade would be a B+. A student who earned 89% because you earned 89% of the total points possible. A student earning 480 points would fail the course because the total represents only 57% of the points possible. Remember, this is just an example. The actual numbers will vary during each grading section. Sometimes I get up to about 1,000 points, 1,100 points. But again, anything between a 90 and 100 is an A, an 80 to an 89, even if it's an 89.4, 0.5, or 0.6. If the grade book doesn't round it up, I do not round it up. So you got to get to that 90.0 percentage to have an A, or that 80.0 to have a B. Final exams. Yes, you will have them. You will have 2 final exams, one at the end of each semester. These exams will include aspects of all material covered, and they may include oral and writing portions as well. The final exam in June may include the end-of-course exam provided by the district. My understanding at this point in time is that they are reviewing that and seeing if they want to continue with the end-of-course exam. So obviously if they discontinue that, then we won't do it. But if they do continue with the end-of-course exam, then I may include that as part of your final exam and your final grade. Final exams are worth anywhere between 100 and 200 points. Grade record. Every student will be provided with a grade record, I'll pass that out right now, and will be required to maintain it throughout the semester. Additional copies of grade records can be found on my teacher website under the Course Documents tab, so if you lose yours, you can find one there. This means that you will always know what grade you are earning in the course. When a test or assignment is returned in class, students will update their grade records. You are required to turn it in to me at the end of each grading period, as it is one of your assignments for the course. So for just keeping tabs on all your grades, I do give you 20 points each 6 weeks. It's a very easy grade, a very easy way to earn points, but you have to keep up with your assignments and make sure that you're logging your assignments and accurately writing in how many points you've received for each assignment. I find that some students at the end of the semester or the end of the 6-week grading period, if they haven't stayed on top of it, they just write in random grades that aren't their grades, and trust me, I do check those things, so make sure that you are writing down your grades accurately. Class participation. I believe education is an active process, not a passive one. Students are expected to ask questions, answer questions, and take part in discussions. The nature of a foreign language learning requires that students participate in oral communication on a daily basis. Participation points will be available to earn every day in my class and will be kept in students' pasaportes, more on that later, and our class cards deck. At the end of each grading period, I will collect the pasaportes and total the class cards deck, and the participation points that they've earned will be part of their 6-week grading class. Again, your pasaportes and your class cards deck grade does renew itself every 6 weeks. So if you had a bad first 6 weeks, again, you've got opportunities to improve. I will show you your class cards deck, the class cards app, a little bit later, so you can see what that's like. Homework. I am not a teacher who believes on piling on long homework assignments on a daily basis. Many of you I know spend more than 7 hours a day on campus. You participate in sports, you hold jobs, you have other obligations. I try to be realistic and acknowledge the demands placed on you. In addition to the recommended 5 to 10 minutes daily vocabulary study at home for all students, I think a regular and brief, like 10 to 20 minute assignment is fair. It helps you develop self-discipline and some time management skills while continuing to practice skills and knowledge learned in class. You can expect to have between 10 to 15 homework assignments per 6-week grading period, which equates to about 2 homework assignments each week. And honestly, it'll probably be more like 1 assignment each week. I don't do that many homework assignments. Homework part 2. On days that homework is due, students are required to show it to me on their way into the classroom. And I'll tell you why if you ask me why that is. I do not accept late work, so it is essential that students maintain a well-organized Spanish binder or notebook where they can always keep their completed homework easily accessible and ready to turn in. Students who do not have their homework will be assigned to mandatory after-school detention that same day with me in room 119 to complete the homework assignment and turn it in for partial credit. Now this is for homework detentions only. Students who come to after-school detention with their homework completed will be dismissed after turning it in and will not be required to stay for the full hour. I just want to see that you're doing the homework. That's what I want. That's what's most important to me. If I assign you a homework detention, it's not a part of the Henry 4-step assertive discipline plan. It's just so that you can come in and show me that you've done the homework and then you're gone. It's not an hour-long thing. If you haven't completed the homework, well then obviously you'll sit down and complete it for me. But I just want to see that it's done. So if we ever go over homework in class, which we typically do, it'd be a good idea for you just to go ahead and write down the answers or fill in the blanks that you missed so that you'll have that and you can turn that in to me after school. Makeup work. All students who are absent for a legitimate reason and who have cleared their absence with the attendance office will be given a reasonable amount of time to complete their work without penalty. If a student is absent 1 day, they will have 1 day to make up missed work. If they're absent 2 days, they will have 2 days to make up missed work. For example, student A is absent on Monday and Tuesday. They have Wednesday and Thursday to make up any missed work. They will not be allowed to turn in any missed work or make up any tests or quizzes after Thursday afternoon. When a student comes back from any absence, they are to look in the absentee binder for any classwork handouts that they missed. Students with unexcused absences will not be allowed to earn points on their missing assignments, tests, or quizzes until their absences are cleared by the attendance office. Bathroom policy. Students are expected to take care of their restroom needs before school, during passing periods, and at lunch. Students will be permitted to use the restroom during class for emergencies only. Of course, those students will be required to make up any lost instructional time that day after school. Students who fail to meet with me after school will be assigned to detention and will have their citizenship grade lowered. It's very important that you come in and check with me at the end of the day. We might go over some vocab, might go over some grammar that you missed while you were gone. but you do need to check in with me at the end of the day.